Hey guys, Susie Nelson here with Affiliate Marketing Informant. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a Vidnami video in CreateStudio. If you haven't heard by now, Vidnami is gone, and all former Vidnami lovers are very sad and heartbroken. So we have been in search of a good Vidnami alternative, and this is definitely an interesting one that you should check out. If this video helps you out, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below, and we'll be more than happy to help you as soon as we can. You can try this Vidnami alternative out to see if it works for you. Just click the link in the description below to start making Vidnami-like videos with CreateStudio. Okay, so this is how this video is going to be structured. First off, I'm going to talk about CreateStudio features and how they stack up to Vidnami, highlighting the features that you want if you're a former Vidnami user. Second, Kim is going to create a video in Vidnami before it was shut down. And third, I'm going to create the same kind of video in CreateStudio, plus some of their more interesting features that drew our attention. So you can watch us create the exact same video in each video maker and see why we chose CreateStudio as a Vidnami alternative right now. And heads up, before we even get started, I just want to give you a full warning. There is no exact replacement for Vidnami. Unfortunately, there is no one product that does exactly everything Vidnami did as well as it did it. Let's talk about the features that CreateStudio does have. CreateStudio is an animated video maker, not an artificial intelligent video maker. You will have to choose your scenes and input all of your own text, but it has some really cool 2D and 3D characters and scenes that you can use that we'll go over. CreateStudio also has auto voices in 35 different languages, so you can choose an auto voice for text-to-speech versus using your own. They also have a wide library of background music that you can add to your video, just like Vidnami. They support different video formats like horizontal, vertical, and even square. They do support the 1080p export option. You can add your brand customization colors and a logo. You can upload your own media, voiceover, and music. And the CreateStudio plans do come with unlimited videos. Now, CreateStudio does not have all of the features that you're used to in Vidnami. And keep watching because I'm actually going to call those out as I create the Vidnami-like video inside of CreateStudio. Okay, now we're going to do the CreateStudio versus Vidnami demo comparison. Now we're going to start with the video inside of Vidnami. So if you don't want to see this, then definitely refer to the chapters in the description below. You can skip forward to where I make this exact same video inside of CreateStudio. But we really wanted you to see step by step on how they compare and how they don't. Here's Kim.
So in Vidnami, I'm going to come to the create a new video option, and then I'm going to go through Vidnami's process to actually create a really quick and easy video. So I'm just going to leave it on the content video format template, which is what you choose at first. I'm going to choose the cool blue template. Then I'm going to paste a script in here. And if you want the script to test out, then definitely download my user guide. I've actually got it linked in there for you to give you a really easy and quick script that you can use to save yourself time. Now that I've pasted my script, now we're going to go to the scenes, and this is where Vidnami does its AI and its auto clip generation, where it automatically creates a video for us, right? And this is going to be where you actually enhance or edit each scene as you want. So some of the popular options are to come here and actually use these words that are auto-populated for you to find different images that you can actually use. And at any point, you can choose any of these images to use in this scene instead of what it auto-populates. Then you scroll down and check the scenes, right? And at any point, you can come in here and you can edit words and you can edit the highlighting as well. Your scene options allow you to do some popular things like hiding the text, bolding and underlining the different parts of your captions, moving the caption to different positions, adjusting the background, and easily linking the previous scene using the same media layout and motion. And if you decide you don't like the screen, you can delete. We're going to say that it's good as is, and we're going to move on to the voice. In this case, we're going to keep things simple and just use one of these auto voices. But in many cases, affiliate marketers and online marketers that use Vidnami, and even creative agencies, like to either record their own voice track or upload a voice track for the video. We're going to go with Kate. Now we're going to preview our video. And depending on how long the video is, this particular step in the preview part can take a few minutes. So we will wait patiently as Vidnami does its thing. Now that the preview is generated, we can celebrate different background music. You can also upload your own music, as you know. And then if you come to options, this is where you have some additional options to adjust the music volume, the track volume, and even the voice track speed. Hit preview again since I made some adjustments, and it's going to create another video preview for me. You can come down here and actually play the video, and then when it looks good, you continue, in which Vidnami will actually create and generate your video. And this is an option that most of us use. We actually like to come in here and change the resolution to full HD 80p, which does take slower times to generate, larger file sizes, but higher quality videos. Then we generate video and Vidnami does its thing once again. So this is going to be the process of creating a video in Vidnami. And one of the reasons why it was such a favorite, because you really could spend very little time creating pretty high quality videos with minimal work. Now Vidnami has finished actually creating my video. I'm going to choose download to download it to my desktop. Then I'm going to open it and play you the example.
Now let's take a look at CreateStudio. One of the first differences you're going to notice between CreateStudio and Vidnami is that it actually downloads to your computer. So once you purchase, you're sent this in an email and you're ready to go. Now, while CreateStudio is not an AI or artificial intelligence video maker, it is pretty unique in that they have 2D and 3D characters and scenes. If we take a look at the template section, you can scroll through and take a look at any of the character scenes, Instagram and Facebook scenes, and any other categories you see along the top. There's also a learning section along the top with a get started quick guide, and it also diverts you to their YouTube channel where they do have updates about their monthly releases and all of their training videos as well. Let's go back to where we started. So when you come into CreateStudio, you'll just create a new project, name your project, choose your resolution from the options they give you in the drop-down menu, or you can custom set your width and height. You would also pick out a background, and you can change all of these options when you get inside, so don't worry about that, and create project now. So because this is not AI, your scenes will not be auto-populated with images and clips, but that just means you have more control. It also means that it takes a little bit longer. So that's kind of a pro and a con depending on what you're looking for out of this software compared to what you wanted with Vidnami. And since we're comparing this with Vidnami, I'm going to stick with just those functions inside of CreateStudio to create a Vidnami-like video and show you some of the cool functions in the 2D and 3D scenes. If you guys would like a full CreateStudio demo tutorial, drop that down in the comments below and let me know. Over on the right, if you wanted to change your resolution at this point or adjust your settings, you could do that from here. You could rename it and change your background, like I said. And then we have some other settings underneath. If we take a look at the advanced settings, you can set your autosave, guidelines, snap lines, presets. There is a lot of control in here. Up on the left, you notice we've also been dropped into the media section. So let's get started. I have found that the best way to get started is to put our text-to-speech audio in, since we definitely want that. So you'll come up here to the search function and choose the text-to-speech option. CreateStudio has 35 different languages for you to choose from, and each one has several different voice options for you to choose as well. I'm going to find a voice. Sally will work, very similar to what we did in Vidnami. Some of these auto voices tend to sound quite robotic. One little trick is that if you increase the speed just a little bit, it can cause that voice to sound a little more natural. And like Vidnami, CreateStudio gives you the option to do that here with speed, and you can change the pitch. Next, you'll want to go to your script and copy and paste. Don't forget, you can get a copy of this handy dandy script down in the description below to use for quick testing for any video makers you may need. Now that we've pasted that in and proofread it, you would want to generate your voiceover. And note at the bottom, if you need to add pauses, you can simply put in the text and create however many seconds pause you would like. Once you've previewed this, and you have the audio track you want, you will need to import it to your media library. And once that's done, you'll click out. Now under Project Media, our text to speech shows up, and you would simply drag and drop that in your video. Now, when I first came in here, this looked a lot like Photoshop to me, which really made me nervous because I'm not very good at Photoshop, and Vidnami was very easy to use. But in all of the training I found, the creator tells you that the more you play around in here, the easier it gets, and that is absolutely true. So let me show you some of the things I was able to find out to make this a little quicker and easier. Once you've got your audio loaded in, definitely rename it so that you can keep track of all of your layers on the left-hand side. Once that's done, you can actually lock this layer so that you can't disrupt it any further. You can also show the wavelength for the audio, and this will help when we set up our scenes and our animations. If you had an audio file that you wanted to upload, from here you would just click Import Media up on the search function again, and you would be able to download that and drag and drop that over to your video as well. If you need to zoom in on your audio file, there is a zoom function so that you can get a little bit more precise. And we do have our project set to autosave every 5 minutes, but you can always save it with the button here as well. Now to start building our Vidnami-like video, we would want to add an image to our first scene. Up along the search function again, you will see a media library option. Click that. This is where you will search for your images and videos. And unlike Vidnami, CreateStudio actually pulls their media from Pexels and Pixabay. If you want to use the Pixabay files, it is an upgrade to import those, so that's something to note. Audio is also where you would add background music. You can search by name or category. We don't want to do that, so we're just going to go back to the Pexels option. We'll look at video, and I know I want my first video to have when as a keyword, so let's see what when has. Then you would just scroll through, see what images you like. I think this one looks good. They're in an office, shaking hands. So we will import that video. Once it's done importing, then you will click out of the video, look at your project media, scroll down. If you click on this name, you can see the video above, and I'll go ahead and rename it here. Now you don't have to name all your files, but when they come up as just a number, it's a little bit harder to know what you're dealing with. So it's just helpful for me to rename them. You would take that video, click and drag onto your scene. At this point, you would want to play your audio and see where you want your scene to end. And now we have our video added to the first scene. Next, we want to add the text. And again, unlike Vidnami, there is no script to text function. So you will have to go in and input all of your sentences yourself, but it's not that hard. So we'll start adding the text by clicking the text at the top. Now we'll enter our sentence. Over on the right-hand side, you can change the font. You can choose from one of the popular, upload your own, or scroll through their options at the drop box. You can also choose from bold, italic, light, regular, thin, and now your text is in your scene. You would come down to the bottom, slide to make sure that fits where your image is and your scene. If you need to move it, you can click on it and move it around the scene. And if you wanted to highlight it, like we did in the Vidnami video, you would just add a shape. We'll choose rectangle. I'd also like to change the color on this. So if we go to the color option, you could use the slider bar at the bottom, or when you find one you like, you can add it to your favorites. You can also use the eyedropper to take one from the scene. We'll just make this one blue. Now when I moved this down, it covered up my text. To fix that, all you would need to do is come down under the left, under main project, take that rectangle, click on it, and move it down below your text box of how to win. And now it's behind it. Now we want to make it fit our text. And last, we'll want to make sure that it fits the scene down along the bottom. And that is our first scene done. Once you've got this scene how you want it, I highly suggest locking the scenes so that as you are adding and building and going back and forth in this project, you don't accidentally change anything on it. You can also save at this point, and then it's totally up to you. But once I have a scene done, I like to take my audio up to the top so I can start on my next one. Move your slider bar to where you'd like to begin, and let's build our second scene together. We'll choose Media Library again. And over on the left, there are some popular searches that you can toggle through if you don't want to have to type in keywords. Affiliate marketing is the keyword for my next scene. I just chose laptop, and this scene actually isn't bad at all. So when you click on it, it automatically gives you a preview of it, and we'll import this video as well. Once it's done importing, click outside of the box. It will show up under your project media on the left. At this point, you can either rename it or just start using it. You would then drag and drop into your scene, and you can see it shows up at the bottom above my audio. You would play this through, make sure this is lined up with your audio, and then we would want to add our text. You would simply head to the top and click text. Your text then drops into your scene. I know I have a very long sentence, so I'm actually going to add this in 3 different text boxes and different highlighting. So we'll add 1 more text box because we know we need 3, and we're going to move them up to the top right hand corner. They have the little guidelines. You can see that purple line snap up. So I'm going to line all of my text up to the right. We'll take a look at the font. I like the Roboto. You can change the font size from here and make it bigger or smaller. And CreateStudio does have a lot of detailed options. If we scroll down, you can see that you can change the scale and the X and Y rotation, but we're just going to leave the text as is for that right now and change the color. I want to make the text this blue color, and we'll do the second one the same blue color. And then if we wanted to highlight, we could always do this one in a different blue color. Now we'll choose the shapes for the back as a highlighter. I know I'm going to need 3, so I'm going to tap on this 3 times. And now we have the elements we need in our scene. So let's take a look down here and get them all lined up. As we were typing, our text was actually naming itself along the bottom, which works out well. Now we need to make sure that these rectangles are behind the text we want them behind. To do that, you would highlight the box you want to deal with. I'm going to go ahead and size them, line them up so they're centered. Now that rectangle is highlighted down here, and I know I want it with because you do not. So take that rectangle, drag it down under because you do not so that it shows up underneath it. Tap on it in the scene above and slide it right behind your words. Now we've got a nice white background to highlight those blue words we chose. We'll do the next one together. So I want these boxes to be the same size. So highlight this box and put it next to its friend. Bring that up so you know it's going to be the right width. It lines up with the snap lines for you. Now we'll click on that and bring it down to the line we want it on. Center it. Then you'll go down to the scenes at the bottom. Take the rectangle that is highlighted and drag that below the sentence you want to highlight, and then slide it right over. Now, like I said, guys, this is not AI, but it sure does become a lot of fun. Kim and I thought this would be a little bit interesting, so that's why we chose to do this one for you guys. This is our 3rd box. Go ahead and make it the right size. Now that it's highlighted at the bottom, bring it under the word you want to highlight, and then just slide it right behind there. Set it with your lines again. Make it as big as you need it to be. And then you'll want to make sure that all of these are the correct length of the scene. Another cool feature of CreateStudio is actually the fact that you can do some animations with the text. So if we choose our first sentence up here and click on the down arrow, if you look at the animations section, you can add a custom animation from here. You can add text effects such as number counting, doodling, and random characters. And you can also add doodle effects, where you can make a hand look like it's actually writing your script across the screen. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Now, once you go through some of these things, you may have something like this pop up. If you have something down here you don't want, just highlight it and click the backspace or delete button on your computer, and it does just disappear. Now let's make this text slide in from the right when our scene opens, and then slide back to the right when our scene closes. To do that, make sure your text is highlighted, and up above the settings, you'll go to motion. You can go in, out, or loop it. We'll just stick with in and out. We want to do a slide left and then a slide right. So we'll click on that, and you can see it drops it down in the animations below. Then you would just preview this and make sure they're landing and coming in where you want them to. And once you have all of this firmed up, you would come through here and lock it. Now that you have this animation on this word, you can apply it to the other two very quickly with a simple copy and paste. And you could do that for each one and make sure they're all lined up, or you could stagger the timing based on your audio, whichever you prefer. As you get them all done, you would simply lock them. And then I like to move my audio up so I can start to build my next scene. So that's how we add videos and images from the media library in CreateStudio. Let's take a look at some of the cool stuff CreateStudio has for you to use that you don't have to build. If you click Studio on the top left, it does take you to the home underneath. You have scenes, characters, transitions, icons, backgrounds, titles, emojis that move, all kinds of options down here. For this scene, let's go ahead and add in our text. Now we'll adjust the font size to make sure that it fits in our scene. I'll go ahead and change the color. I want to use one of my presets. And I know I want the text highlighted, so we'll do a rectangle. We'll go down to the bottom, move the rectangle under our text. And you guys could do this the other way, add your shape and then your text. This is just to kind of give you an idea of how to go through here. And I like the idea of being able to name things on the left and lock them, so it makes it easier for you to progress and be able to toggle back and forth and kind of see what you've done and kind of get an idea from where you want to go. Now that we have these set, I'm just going to move these down so we can play around with some of the 2D and 3D scenes today. So I'm going to go ahead and lock these and move them under my audio. Now what I did forget to do here was make it fit the scene that I want it to fit. So all I have to do is unlock that, play through your audio, make sure you know where it needs to stop, and then you would just make the adjustments you need. And then you could lock it back again or leave it open, whichever works best for you. Let's take a look at some of the scenes that CreateStudio has created. Now you can move this down a little bit so that you guys can see what we're looking at. And hopefully I'll remember to move that back up. In the scene section, you have several more options that they break it down for. We'll take a look at 3D. Now you'll notice the little blue download arrows. Once you decide you want to use a project, you download it, the little blue arrow goes away. You can also add these to your favorites, and then when you come in, you would just click the star and it'll show only your favorites. So I like this guide because we're talking about being successful. So I'm going to go ahead and use him because I've downloaded him and he is in my favorites right now. You would simply drag and drop into the scene, and he needs a background. So if we take a look back at home, you could go to your backgrounds here. We'll take a look at 3D again. Here you can see all of the different options that are available for you. They have a ton of these in here. And since we're talking about affiliate marketing, let's see if we can find something with a desk. All right, I found this one and added it to my favorites for you guys. So let's drag that into our scene, and we'll pull this back up so we can see our slider bars at the bottom. Put my audio at top. I know I've already got my text the length of the audio. So I'm going to make sure that my background is behind the falling scene guy I put in. We'll make sure all of the sliders are lined up. And because this is a preset scene, I actually can't change the width or the length of it. I could copy it and put another one here, but I'm going to show you something different. So once we click through here, I also realized that my text is not showing up. So we'll just come down here, move the background behind the text, and now we're good to go. I'm going to move the guy behind the text. Now if we click through here, we can see the money falling, the office, and the text. And don't forget, if you wanted to animate that text, you would simply click on it, go to motion, come through here, choose any option. The animations will show up on your slider bar below. And if you wanted to apply that to the highlight box behind it, just remember to highlight it. You would simply copy with your keyboard shortcuts, highlight what you would like to do the same thing, and then paste. Now it's shown up beneath it exactly the same. And the same thing will be true for this one. Now, because we have a nice office background and we have a 3D character as well, it cuts off in the middle of this scene. So if you wanted to add him back in, you could simply go home. Now you would scroll up to your characters instead of scenes. And you would also choose 3D characters. They do have other options for you. And these are really cool, which is what makes this animated video maker definitely an interesting option for Kim and I. If we choose 3D, we can find this character. His name is actually Dominic. You would use the little blue download to download him, but you can see I've already done that. Put your slider where you want to insert him into the scene and click and drag. Now because he shows up double here, you would simply move your slider a bit to where he disappears in the background. And if you wanted to line them up to where they were the same size, you could even do that here as well. You would go slightly forward, pull your lines, and then just toggle back a little bit. You can see he's going to be off-centered. And you could take a minute and have this set up as close as you possibly wanted. If we zoom in a little bit down here in the slider, I can show you with Dominic, your 3D characters are going to come with actions which are below. If you would like to change him from standing idle, you could go to add action and choose a new one from here. The actions are preset with times. You can decrease them, but you cannot increase them. So if you wanted to change this action out, you would simply choose it from the drop-down menu, and he could change to happy. I'll click through here so we can see his little arms wave. Again, you would want to move the text in front of him by selecting him along the bottom and dragging him down. You could also come down to your background and extend it to make sure that he shows all the way through. So I can show you a couple more things that CreateStudio does. We'll move our slider and start a new scene. If we come over to the left and go back to home, not only do we have scenes and characters, you can set transitions. They have several different options. Characters, they have icons, backgrounds, animated emojis, video effects, scroll stoppers, doodle makers. If you wanted some of your text to be animated, you could go to typography. As I hover over, you can see the animations at the top. You could choose any different color. You could come in. We'll take a look at this one. I'll simply drag and drop it over on my scene, move my slider until it shows, and then we can start to work with it. If you want to move it as a whole, make sure all the boxes are showing, and then you can move it around your screen. You could come in here and delete, edit, change your font size. So just because these are preset doesn't mean that you can't come in here and customize them. Once you've made the necessary adjustments down along the slider, make sure that you go back to your main project, because when you pulled this in, it came in as a package deal. So once you back out of that project, it will show with the one name in your timeline for ease of use. Another cool feature with CreateStudio is their icons section along the top. If we decided to add a 3D character, we'll just use this guy, drag and drop him in your scene. And then you could go to icons at the top. You could use their isometric objects. You would simply drop those on the scene and zoom in. You could use illustrations, SVGs, scene objects. The possibilities here are really endless. Let's choose this chalkboard. Now that we've chosen the chalkboard, it does show up as an icon on the left. Don't forget you can name it. You would want this to be behind our character. And we'll simply find the track name, click, and drag it below our character. We'll move him over. You can make this bigger, smaller, center it. If you wanted to center, you could do that here. You could also replace it, flip it vertically or horizontally. But if we add text to this particular one, and we have the text selected and move down to the main project and click the arrow, one of the doodle effects that we can add here is actually the handwriting. So if we scroll over just a little bit, you can see there are hands with chalk in them. Let's choose this one. You can have it draw, erase, automatic or manual. You can change the hand size and also how much it shakes when it's writing. If we click through this, that's a pretty cool little effect. And you can see the hand move as it writes across. At this point, you could go into your text and change your setting. Make it look a little bit more like a chalkboard. Make it bigger or smaller. Again, the possibilities here are really endless. I'm going to take a few minutes now and go through here and build a Vidnami-like video for the first few scenes, and then some of the cool CreateStudio effects for the rest of the scenes, so you guys can really get a feel for what CreateStudio can do. I'll be back right before I publish it to show you how we do that with CreateStudio. Alright guys, now I have created my Vidnami-like video inside of CreateStudio. I've gone ahead and previewed it, and I feel like it's close enough for you guys to see. I can always do a little bit better on the transitions and stuff because I'm fairly new, but this really was a lot of fun. Make sure you have the resolution exactly how you want it, your name is good, and you have at least saved your project one more time for safety measure. Then we're going to click the publish button. They give you the option to choose your file type. We're just going to choose MP4 high quality since we did a 1080. And then you choose where you want your output to. Now all we have left is to publish the video. And we will wait patiently as CreateStudio renders and saves our video to our computer. This is going to take some time, especially the longer the video is and the bigger it is. And that's with any video maker. I'll be back as soon as it's saved. Now that Vidnami has downloaded my video, it shows up here on my welcome page. They do give you options to add folders and get this organized if you wanted it to. And you have a further option to export the project from here or delete it if you would like to. Now I'm going to let you preview it so you can see how the first few scenes are very Vidnami-like, while the remaining scenes are some of the cooler features and functions that CreateStudio offers. If you guys are interested in seeing the full examples of both demo videos, we do have them posted on our YouTube channel, and they are included in the links below. You can go watch the full 1-minute video of the CreateStudio video example versus the full 1 minute of the Vidnami video example. And don't forget, CreateStudio is not an AI video maker like Vidnami was. It's actually an animated video maker with very similar capabilities. And of the many differences between the two, not having the auto clip selection and the automatic scene creation is going to be the biggest difference. I've gone over quite a few other differences. The last difference I'm going to discuss about CreateStudio is its pricing structure. With Vidnami, you had one monthly plan at one price for all features. And in CreateStudio's case, you actually have two plans. You have the CreateStudio Standard, and you have the All Access Pass, which is updated every month. With both plans, you receive everything in the Standard, and it is lifetime access. Like I said, CreateStudio does have updates every month, and if you go to their YouTube channel, you can find all of the videos that they've released, including any training that you're interested in. I did find it easier to go through some of these trainings, go back into CreateStudio and do what the training said to do, and it was super easy to catch on and go through here. I was nervous and anxious for nothing. So if you think CreateStudio is right for you, don't forget to check it out using our link in the description below. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. We really appreciate your support, and keep watching our channel for additional Vidnami alternatives as we take the time to research them and try to find the best alternative for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.